Hello everyone, and welcome back to another GIS mathematics lecture video. And in this video I want to talk about angles again, but specifically I want to talk about this idea of the standard position. Right, what do we mean by standard position? Because my guess is that this might be one of the things that may be most new to you. So the idea of the standard position means two things. One, it means the vertex of the angle is on the origin. Right, the vertex of the angle is on the origin. So what I want to do is I want to go through two examples. We have some pictures here, some figures. This is the one from the previous video. This is a new one. And what I want to do is I want to just confirm that these are both actually meet our definition of what we're going to call the standard position. So the first is that the vertex is on the origin. Well, first, what do we mean by vertex? Just to sort of recap, right? The vertex, right? This is the vertex. To recap, right, the vertex is the end point of the angle. It's that point where the two lines, line segment, raise, right? It's the point where those two things intersect. Right, so in this case, right, this is the vertex in both cases. And the vertex in both cases meets on the origin. So that's one part, right? The vertex of the angle is on the origin. That's the first part. The second part of the standard position is that the initial side is on the x-axis, right? So what does that mean? Well, again, let's take a look at both of our examples here. The initial side, right, just to sort of recap what that means, the initial side is the fixed side. And again, in our previous video, we sort of clarified that to mean if you're going to measure the angle, that's the side you're going to start with. So in this case, right, this right here, this is our initial side. Okay, so over here, right, this is our initial side. Right, so in both cases, right, our initial side does indeed run along the x-axis. Right, this is the x-axis in case that wasn't clear. Right, this is the x-axis right here. So again, standard position, the vertex of the angle is the origin, check, check, and the initial side is on the x-axis, check, check. And then just to sort of conclude a brief recap from last time, right, this was the initial side. We also had a term for the other side, right, this other line here, right, this was called the terminal side. Right, again, this was called the terminal side. And that was the side that we ended on, right? If we were going to measure this angle, right, if we were going to measure these angles, right, angle 1, let's use some terminology. Let's call this angle theta. Ooh, that's a terrible theta. And let's call this angle phi. Right, if we're going to measure theta and phi, right, we would start at the initial side and we would measure the rotation to the terminal side. Right, if we were measuring theta, we would start at the initial side and we would measure the rotation to the terminal side. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, this is just to sort of set up this definition of the standard position. Hopefully that made sense. If any of this was confusing, I strongly encourage you to reach out. And as always, please reach out. Thank you.